A broadcast service of City College and the San Diego Community College District. This is Jazz FM 88.3 KSDS San Diego. I'm Dave Drexler with Inside Art. Support for Inside Art comes from the members of San Diego's Jazz 88.3. I'm Dave Drexler with Inside Art. The San Diego Writers Festival is a free community-based event celebrating the power of writing and storytelling for all ages, where talented writers, writing groups, and anyone interested in writing of all kinds gather to showcase their work and attend a wide range of panel discussions and workshops. This year's keynote speaker is New York Times bestselling author Jodi Picoult, plus a host of acclaimed writers across a wide range of literary genres. This one-day event runs Saturday, March 28th from 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. at Coronado Public Library and Coronado High School and adjoining performance spaces. And joining me to preview the 7th edition of the San Diego Writers Festival are its co-founders Marni Freedman and Anastasia Zadeik. Both are celebrated writers and advocates for writing in our community. Marni and Anastasia, it's great to have you back with us on Inside Art.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, we're excited to be here. Thanks for having us.
Well, I'm excited to be part of the 7th edition, Marni. When you started it, did you think it was going to become an institution in San Diego?
No. Definitely, it's been by the seat of our pants, pulling it off each year. But we felt a shift this year for sure that maybe people believe we're sticking around. And we're feeling the shift that we can make it, it can continue.
How has it evolved in recent iterations as you've gone along?
It takes a minute for people to believe that you're real and you're going to stick with it, especially something as crazy as doing a free festival. It's 100% volunteer run. So there was a lot of doubt, could we really keep it afloat? And the community really showed up and continues to show up. And wonderful people like Anastasia who donate their time, to make it happen. So it's really evolved in terms of credibility, I think, and showing the community and other authors that we're living our mission. And I feel like this year there's some true understanding of yes, we're in it with you kind of feeling.
Well, that evolution also brings about, greater drawing power for your guests, doesn't it, Anastasia?
It absolutely does. And I would add to Marni's comments that at the beginning, we were asking people to come, and now people are asking us if they can come. And I think that's a huge shift. In addition, I think it's a credit to both the volunteers that put it together, but also the volunteers that show up on the day of the festival to make it such a welcoming community for people. And the authors sense it. They sense that this is a different kind of festival than the other festivals and conferences that are around. It makes sure that everyone has a seat at the table. Artists are often the people that are unseen. We appreciate the art, but we don't necessarily know about the artists. And I think that's also true of writers. And so we value the idea of letting people meet the people who create the words that they read and the words that they see on screens and the poetry that they listen to. And in this case, this year, we also have a musician who is coming by the name of Lucas Cantor Santiago. And he's one of those people that you wouldn't know who he was, but he did a lot of the music for the Olympics and for various commercials. And he, in this book that he's representing at this festival, is one called Unfinished. And he was the artist or the composer that was called upon to finish Schubert's Unfinished Symphony. And he's going to be talking about AI and the role of that, of the artist in the world of artificial intelligence that's coming upon us rather quickly. So we're excited to see that. And that's somebody that reached out to us. So we're just excited to see that shift happening.
Well, with your success, you also have instituted a registration process for the first time. Still free. The event is completely free, but a registration for the festival and also for the keynote address.
Correct. It really helps us. People, please register. You can still come on the day of, but it just gives us a head count. understanding, and with Jody especially. So if you go onto our website, you can register for the conference itself, for the festival itself, and then specifically for Jody, which might fill up. So it's a good idea to register.
That'll all be available at your website. Maybe you can share that with us.
San Diego Writers Festival.com. People can also go to eventbrite.com and search for the San Diego Writers Festival, register directly there.
Again, it's a free registration, and that's highly recommended, especially for the keynote address with Jodi Picoult. Anastasia, tell us more about Jodi, her work, if people are not familiar with that.
So Jodi is the New York Times bestselling award-winning author of 30 novels. Her newest one will be coming out in September. We're going to be speaking to her, Marni and I, about her latest novel, By Any Other Name, which is a kind of a rewrite of history when it comes to Shakespeare. There's been a lot of books over the years and controversy over whether Shakespeare actually wrote all of the works. And she gives us a historical background and some really, really compelling evidence that perhaps there was a woman who was contributing mightily to his playwriting. So we're looking forward to speaking to her. I think we're also going to touch on some of the social issues that Jodi is really passionate about, one of which is the freedom to read. And she's very against the banning of books. Some of her books and many others have been banned in recent years due to the subject matter. And a couple of hers are about things like school shootings. She wrote a book called 19 Minutes, which is about school shootings. And something like that, I think, is really important for us to be talking about. Why do these things happen? One of the things that I admire about Jodi as an author is she really takes the time and gets into her character's headspace to present the whys and the how did people come to be the way they are with it's a special kind of neutrality almost and objectivity that she brings to these subjects. And so you get the sense one of her books is called Small Great Things, and it's about a woman who is a Black nurse that's charged with caring for a baby of a white supremacist. And you would think that this would be very sensational, but she does not sensationalize it. She gives you how does someone become a white nationalist? Like, it's not like she's criticizing them. She's more trying to understand the way that people come to be who they are. And I think that's a really interesting topic to discuss with her as well, as how does she do that? How does she get into people's heads that way?
The way that I've seen it is that she offers a level of compassion. It's like a compassionate portrayal of people and situations that maybe you wouldn't have empathy or compassion for. And she does it in such a brilliant way. I think that's why it resonates with so many people.
Maybe you can give us a bit of an overview of the other specific workshops or categories, Anastasia?
Yeah, certainly. So we have three major types of events. We have interviews, workshops, and panel discussions. One of the things that we feel really is a value to the community is to present all different kinds of writings. So while we do have the majority are book, authors and people who write books, we also have this year a screenwriting panel. We have a panel on books to film adaptations. We have a panel for playwrights, and we have 3 events for poets. So we try to branch out beyond just books, which is something that is kind of unique in the writing festival world. We also have some great featured speakers coming this year. We have 2 local horror writers, Jonathan Mayberry, who's been in the industry for a very long time and has, I think, over 100 books, and Luke Dumas, who's one of the up-and-coming horror writers in San Diego. He has just completed and put his 3rd book out. It'll come out actually the Tuesday after the festival, but people will have the opportunity to purchase it at our festival before anyone else gets it. But we also have historical fiction. We have David Ambrose coming, he wrote a memoir called A Place Called Home. And it's one of those books that's not just to tell his story, but also it's a call to action. He has become incredibly involved as a child advocate for children in foster care and in homeless situations. He is one of Obama's champions of change. And he's been involved since he was a young man in how do we reform from the inside and how do we really address the concerns of these kids. He himself was a child that grew up in poverty, homelessness, and then in foster care. So he can speak to it from a place of true authenticity, but also he brings a passion to the subject. And so we're excited about that one. And we also have, again, something that's super timely, which is an interview between the founder of Symposium by the Sea,
Dean Nelson.
He's going to be speaking with Chris Jennings, who's the author of a book called End of Days, which is about Ruby Ridge and the rise of conspiracy theories in the United States, which I think will also be a really interesting conversation. Dean is one of the best interviewers out there, and he's going to be talking about that. And he's also doing a workshop for people, which could be relevant for not just writers, but anyone who has to give an interview. He's going to be doing an interview workshop. As you know, he wrote the book Talk to Me, but he's come out with 2 other books called Talking to Writers. One is for nonfiction, one is for fiction, which are reflections and tips and techniques based on his decades of interviewing writers. So we're really excited about that event as well.
Dean Nelson is a longtime friend of this broadcast, so look forward to seeing him there. Are there any other presenters you'd like to share with us that are coming to the San Diego Writers Festival, Marni?
Yes, absolutely. We're very excited to have Catherine Woodward Thomas. She wrote a book recently called What's True About You. And what I love about this book is, she says, what if healing your past isn't enough to create the future you desire? And she helps people get out of that endless working on yourself place to actually move beyond what you might be struggling with. And so she says this book is for those who are ready to move beyond endlessly trying to fix a broken past and begin living the life you came here to live now. And her writing is simple, elegant, to the point. She's a therapist. So we're really excited about that one. And the other one we're really excited about is, did we mention Never Can Say Goodbye, Navigating the Sacred Space?
No, thank you. So we're very excited to be welcoming Lisa Zadeik, who's a columnist for the UT San Diego. She's going to be speaking with Darnmont Walker, and he is a death doula. And he's going to be speaking about helping people to feel more comfortable talking about death as just a part of life, but also the importance of helping people to define their legacy, to figure out what their life was about. And in that way, helping them find peace as they make that last journey of life. And he talks about how this is not just a benefit for the person who's in that journey, but all the people around them who are supporting them, how much value it brings to you as well. And I think that's going to be a really interesting talk.
This festival, the San Diego Writers Festival, which is on March 28th this year in Coronado, is a festival of ideas as much as anything else. It's for everyone. You don't have to be a writer. You don't even have to be a big reader. It's really quite a gathering of the community. I think that's what you really founded it upon, Marni, isn't it?
Yes, very much so. We really wanted a place for people to gather and to feel free to talk about things that, maybe they can't talk about around the kitchen table, have a space to share their voice, even if they're scared to speak their truth. We want to provide that space, and a lot of amazing conversations and personal changes have evolved from after the festival, from the conversations that have been had as a response to some of the authors who are sometimes bringing up provocative or unspoken, topics. So it's absolutely a mission to provide that space and to help people to feel safe.
All right. Well, music, food, poetry also involved. Lots of exciting activities with the San Diego Writers Festival on March 28th from 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. at Coronado Public Library and Coronado High School, and adjoining performance spaces right next door or across the street?
Across the street.
I'd like to thank you both for joining me in previewing the San Diego Writers Festival in its 7th year. Congratulations for getting it this far, Marni and Anastasia. And thanks again for joining us on Inside Art.
Thank you. Hope you join us.
The San Diego Writers Festival takes place Saturday, March 28th from 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. at Coronado Public Library and Coronado High School Performance Spaces. The event is free and open to everyone. Registration and a complete schedule of events is available at SanDiegoWritersFestival.com. Inside Art is made possible with support from the members of Jazz 88.3. Replays and extended versions of every Inside Art broadcast are available online at jazz88.org/Inside Art. Our theme is created and performed by Bill Mays, whose music is available at billmays.net. Again, my thanks to Marni Freedman, Anastasia Zadeik, and Jerry Bergonzi. For Jazz 88.3, I'm Dave Drexler. Join me again on air and online for another edition of Inside Art. Jazz Inspired is next.